So it is already April 17th of 2025, and given that there's a lot of issues going on, not just within the film industry and the Hollywood sphere, but specifically catered to Netflix and everything else going on with Meghan Markle right now, we already know that Netflix lost a lot of credibility when it came to doubling down on a so-called Season 2 of With Love, Meghan that in reality is just Season 1 Part 2, let's call it for what it is. But what's real interesting here, and not in a good way by the way, has a lot more to do with what's really going on with Netflix CEO Greg Peters and how he has been trying to really warn the board of directors ahead of time, and that worked to no avail, and essentially now they're dealing with the consequences. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, I've said this once and I'll say it again, but Meghan Markle is your typical narcissist. She's very self-absorbed, greedy. She will say whatever she has to say to get her point across. She lies to the general public, and it only gets worse from there. What's interesting here has a lot more to do with what she recently did, not just against Netflix, but also to other studios out there like Amazon, and is really just posing a grand scheme of things here. Now, what's interesting about this also is the fact that Meghan Markle is going the extra mile to really remain in the spotlight, to remain in the limelight as long as she can. She knows that the end is near when it comes to Netflix. She knows that the contract deal is most likely going to be called off. It's very likely at this point due to the ratings disaster of Season 1, and how Season 2 is going to shoehorn DEI into the equation on a grand level that we have never seen before, and that's also going to drive away a lot of Netflix customers without a doubt. However, this is where it really begins to pick up, is that with the Meghan Markle fiasco still going out of control over at Netflix between herself and CEO Greg Peters of Netflix, one massive development that is now active involves more to do with Meghan Markle getting tossed in a legal nightmare after breaking certain rules within her contract at Netflix. It turns out that the Netflix board members, even the ones that support Meghan Markle, are already warning her of taking legal action against her after learning about a certain act that she took and made with Amazon. It turns out that Meghan Markle's general concept, the general idea, so to speak, for her new reality TV show that she pitched to Amazon was an original idea created by Netflix that never moved past its pre-production phase. Netflix is already urging Meghan Markle to step away, and actually to step away from any form of heading over to meetings with Amazon, not just while she still holds a contract with Netflix, but also overusing Netflix's ideas for the plot of the story of Meghan's reality TV show and the specific style and format that they themselves created before Meghan introduced those plans to Amazon. Now, Netflix executives and their legal team are already urging Markle to put a halt to any future meetings with Amazon, and that if she pursues any other conversations with Amazon, they are preparing to take and create a lawsuit against her, essentially. Netflix is already forcing Markle that once her contract does end by this fall, even then, she must come up with a complete original idea of her reality TV show with either Amazon or any other studio that doesn't take key concepts and or stories from the Netflix idea/concept for Meghan Markle's reality show that was axed, by the way, well before it even went into production. Now, to make matters worse for Markle's sake is that she is actually dealing with significant writer's block for an original reality TV show idea to pitch to Amazon, after already using concepts from other reality TV programs on top of hers, of course, that she originally talked over with Netflix. Now, Netflix, get this, and their overall legal team are actually going into serious legal warnings with Meghan Markle now, and reportedly putting Meghan Markle in a frightened phase to the point that where meetings with Amazon have indeed come to a sudden decline, as she is already rethinking her strategy and plans to restart the entire process for her reality TV show. Now again, like I said before a couple of days ago, you guys may or may not have seen it, but we talked about how she basically stole ideas from programs like the Real Housewives or the Kardashians and the Osbournes, all these different reality TV shows that span many years. She used key concepts of those stories on top of the general idea that Netflix had. We talked about this as well, that they were creating a reality TV show for Meghan Markle that was axed. It was going to focus on her overall passion, quote-unquote, for shopping and dealing with, of course, a lot of her love for clothing, food, housework, all that nonsense again, kind of combining elements of With Love Meghan with a reality TV program into one. And I think it would have failed miserably. We all know that. I think that everyone's very well aware about that. But the fact that she went the extra mile to go over to Amazon and not only take key ideas from other reality TV programs and stealing the actual idea that Netflix had created, even though the show was axed over at Netflix, they don't want her using that idea with Amazon at all, and they already made legal warnings about that. Now, the fact that that put her into that frightened state where now meetings are just suddenly dropping between herself and Amazon, I think it tells all. I think it tells you that she knows that she's guilty in everything that she was doing and stealing ideas, you know, engaging in all this plagiarism nonsense and doing this and that. I think at the end of the day, what's interesting about this, yet again, is the fact that Meghan Markle is still doubling down. She is trying to rethink the entire strategy on how to come up with a reality TV show to pitch to Amazon. She still wants to have a reality TV show. She believes that she can really get it up to that status level where it's going to be widely popular, and honestly, guys, it's going to fail. We all know that. Now, moving on, after learning about the fact that she's not only, of course, stealing ideas from other programs like The Kardashians and The Real Housewives, but also was using the core story that Netflix themselves had created, Amazon, get this, decided they wanted nothing to do with Meghan Markle until, and only until, that she comes up with something completely original and on her own. The legal team over at Netflix reportedly gave Meghan Markle 3 serious warnings before she caved, and that they are prepared for any shenanigans that Meghan may try to pull with either another studio or Amazon again. Now, this is all happening in the midst of With Love Meghan Season 2, and how that is also dealing with significant setbacks as we speak due to Markle's very difficult behavior behind the scenes and her overly demanding requests/ultimatums that she keeps giving to Netflix while she still holds a contract over there. And again, I mean, this is typical Meghan Markle behavior, right? We've seen this time and time again, both in the public eye and behind the scenes with various studios over time. And I think that when you look at this, the fact that Meghan Markle is trying to create a reality TV show just makes you cringe, right? It just makes you realize exactly how far she is willing to go to just have something that allows her to have an outlet to remain in the public eye, right? Whether it's on television or in the film industry, whatever it may be, she wants to stay at the center of attention, all right? So she's very much an attention seeker. I think that's not really news at all. We all know that. That's an ongoing, thing that many studios are beginning to realize now, that that's the only reason why she's engaging in all of these ideas for her shows that keep getting declined by various studios. We already know what happened with HBO and among other studios out there that just gave her the boot and said, we're not dealing with you anymore. They don't want to deal with her pitches or her overall ideas or contract deals that came to a near concrete close. But what's interesting about this, yet again, like I say, Meghan is going to stop at nothing to remain in the spotlight. Overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.